your home for over 17 years of horse racing action. The Sport of Kings, featuring Tommy Walski. On today's show, we'll get an in-depth look at the Breeders' Cup and what it means to the many participants. And now here he is, BC's ambassador to the world of horse racing, Mr. Tommy Walski.
Here on the Sport of Kings, with today being Breeders' Cup Saturday, we thought what better time than to give you a chance to look at all the hype and glamour that makes Breeders' Cup Day so unique.
I think the most important thing we've done with Breeders' Cup is we created it as a championship.
I think Breeders' Cup has really put horse racing on the front pages.
It's like our Super Bowl or our World Series.
The playoffs and the championship all in one.
It's got more people involved.
It's like Kentucky Derby.
Breeders' Cup is a champion of champions.
It keeps the excitement going throughout the year.
It determines usually the championship in each division.
The Breeders' Cup brings everybody together and you decide everything on the racetrack.
Well, my most memorable, of course, was the year 2000 when Kona Goer won the Breeders' Cup, which was quite a day for all of us. And knowing my horse so well, predicted I'd break the track record that day. And so I knew he was up for a very big race.
It was my first Breeders' Cup, so it was very special. And especially, winning for a great friend of mine, Bruce Headley.
A new Breeders' Cup, a new Churchill Downs track record, a sensational 107-3.
You got that mighty double, quadruple adrenaline rush from the victory, and with all the joy and happiness for everybody around you, your partners, the horse, the jockey, the groom, and to win the World's Championship is probably one of the greatest experiences you could have.
The greatest single moment in the Breeders' Cup was in 1988 at our fourth Breeders' Cup at Churchill Downs on a very tough and nasty day for the horses and the humans. It was the Breeders' Cup distaff. It was the great Personal Ensign, unbeaten, running over a racetrack she did not like.
Here comes Personal Ensign, unleashing a furious one on the outside.
Chasing down winning colors and Goodbye Halo in the stretch. And people saying, is she going to get there? Is she going to get there? She's got her out of room. She can't get there. And she got there.
Dramatic finish, and here is the wire. And it is Personal Ensign there with winning colors in a photo.
And she won the race. And I remember being in that press box at Churchill Downs and seeing grown men cry. I mean, tears in their eyes. They'd seen something spectacular.
To me, the most memorable Breeders' Cup race was when Sunday Silence and Easy Goer met at Gulfstream Park in 1989, pretty much to decide Horse of the Year. They had split their 3 meetings in the Triple Crown races, and there was a lot of debate over who was the better horse. And now they were meeting on neutral ground at Gulfstream Park. Neither had run there, going 1.25 miles, and it was going to decide 3-year-old and Horse of the Year.
Sunday Silence surges to the front, flushing gun, trying to fight back. Easy Goer with one final acceleration, and Sunday Silence holds on.
Sunday Silence beat Easy Goer on the square, giving him 3 out of 4 victories against Easy Goer that year, and it made him Horse of the Year. And I just thought it was a great race. It was just a very dramatic race. A lot of tactical things went on during it. So that's the race that sticks out in my mind.
I think my most favorite Breeders' Cup was the Breeders' Cup with 30 Slews won. I knew going into it he was a good horse, and I knew he had a good chance of winning. I'd been to the Breeders' Cup the year before with a mare called Soviet Sojourn, where I knew she was in it, but I knew she wasn't doing as well. She was starting to tail off on me, and I was hoping that maybe, she would surprise me, which she didn't. Going into the Breeders' Cup with a horse that you knew had a legitimate chance to win is very exciting. It just changes the whole atmosphere of it all. And being down there, and I knew we were under the radar. People didn't really know who I was at the time. I was just getting into the sport, so. And it was the first thoroughbred I ever purchased.
And they're off. And Rubiano came out like a rocket. And Mia Farah is also right there with 30 Slews to run toward the inside. 30 Slews is set down for the drive. Sheikh Al-Badu is coming with his run down the center of the racetrack. Then Super Strike. Rubiano's 8 lengths from the lead. And it's Mia Farah leading the way with the 16th to come. 30 Slews, her only challenger.
won that day, it was just such a thrilling moment for me. I didn't think it could get any better than that. I thought that nothing could top that feeling. It was just the excitement of it when you win on such a big day, when everyone is focused on that day of horse racing.
My most memorable Breeders' Cup would be back here in 1993. Passiana and Hollywood Wildcat, Eddie Delahousse and Chris McCarron, two first-class mares, two first-class jockeys hooked up in the distaff, and they went head-and-head for about a quarter of a mile.
And those two headlong into the final furlong together. McCarron all over his champion mare Passiana. On the inside, Hollywood Wildcat is resolute. Hollywood Wildcat and Passiana striding to the line. Here's the finish, and it's Hollywood Wildcat.
And I actually saw Eddie D's whip go flying at about the 16th pole. You could hear Eddie hollering and screaming and shoving on Hollywood Wildcat. Passiana wouldn't give up, and those two ran as a team to the wire. And I knew Hollywood Wildcat had won being down in the wire, but it was very close, a very short nose. And I always laughed afterwards because one of Eddie D's quotes after the race, they asked Eddie about his ride, and he said in his Cajun sound, I rode that horse there like a bug boy.
Chris and I talked about Alphabet Soup the morning of the race. And we felt that he was such a game competitor that if he could get his head out somewhere before the 8th pole in the wire, maybe they wouldn't get by him because he was so competitive. And then coming for home, I saw him on the outside, and I'm watching Cigar on the outside of Alphabet Soup, who's about a length and a half behind him. We get to the 8th pole, and Alphabet Soup sticks his nose out in front, gets ahead, gets a half a length, and here comes Cigar.
Alphabet Soup in with an upset chance. Cigar, the heart of it, champion, trying to get him. It's Alphabet Soup. Cigar on the outside. Louis Quatorze. Alphabet Soup has scored a shocking upset. Cigar has been denied.
So the wire comes, boom. We win the race, breaks the track record, so it wasn't a fluke. It was just a solid, strong effort. I think Cigar is second. So I'm saying to Mrs. Ritter, let's go down. Come on, we won. She said, no, it's a photo finish. I don't think we won. I said, come on, we won by a neck. Don't worry about it. She said, no, I don't think so. I said, come on down there. So we get down, and all of a sudden the photo finish sign comes up. It puts Alphabet Soup up first, and Louis Quatorze second, and Cigar third. I never saw Louis Quatorze. We won by a nose.
I was so fortunate in 1993. I had 4 horses in on Breeders' Cup Day. 2 of them were in the Breeders' Cup Kodashan and Phone Chatter. And then in 2 of the other stake races, I had Memo and Regent. And they all 4 won. So the last thing I thought would ever happen again would be that we'd win 4 races on a Breeders' Cup Day.
And they're off.
Half Brattled was a great champion. She was the best 2-year-old filly I've ever seen. And even drawn in the 14-hole, Julie Crone did as great a job as I've ever seen done riding a horse.
Half Brattled in front by neck. Victory USA fights on. A shadow right there. A thread on the outside third. Down to the final 100 yards. Half Brattled in front. And Half Brattled is pulling away. Victory USA. A shadow giving futile chase. Under the line. It's Half Brattled, a filly champion, winning by 3 lengths.
We were relieved off that one because she was a heavy favorite and should have won the race. Then we came back with the colt race right after that, and Action This Day fell back and relaxed nice off the pace. Minister Eric set back in a good position, and when they turned for home, Minister Eric drew off, and I thought, boy, Minister Eric's going to win. And then in the corner of my eye, I saw Action This Day taking off from the back of the pack and circled the field and won easy. And I thought, how good could it get?
Coming down to the finish, and it's going to be Action This Day from way out of it.
Then we hustled back and got Johar ready.
These 2 arch rivals head to head with Johar bearing down on them. It's going to be a 3-horse photo finish in the turn. Here's the wire. Photo finish.
Had to sit out that long wait for the photo finish to come up a dead heat. And I thought it couldn't get any better than this. And I had just enough time to think a little bit with Pleasantly Perfect going to the post, and I thought, this horse couldn't be any better, and I know he's this good.
Pleasantly Perfect rolls up on the outside from 4th. Then it's Dynamare running in 5th. Perfect drifts 6 toward the inside. Congaree, Medallion, Goer in a pitched battle here in the Classic. Heads apart for the lead, and Pleasantly Perfect trying to mow them down with 100 yards to go. Then Dynamare on the outside, and they're coming down to the finish, and it is Pleasantly Perfect. Man, oh man, Mandella, what a day!
And Turned out we did win 4 Breeders' Cup races on Breeders' Cup Day. That's too much luck in one day for anybody. I was just very fortunate to have it happen. I have a lot of times when I'm not doing any good, and I sit down and wonder how I ever did it. I can pretty confidently predict we'll never do it again.
Hey racing fans, stakes action returns to Fraser Downs on Wednesday, November 11th. 4 great breeder stakes for 2- and 3-year-olds. Action begins at 1:15. Make sure you're a part of it. Don't go away. The Sport of Kings will be right back.